Hello everyone. I'm hoping there's very little wind noise here, but we'll deal with it if there is. But welcome back. We're getting ready to start the next part of the generator house, generator condo, whatever you want to call it. We're getting ready to start the electrical part. We're going to do as much as we can while the box or the house or the condo is sitting inside the barn, and as soon as we get that part finished, then the rest of it's going to have to be slid back out where it belongs, because that's going to kind of make it the permanent mount. So you can grab that coffee and kick back. We'll be back and show you where and what we're going to do and how we've come up with the design on this. We'll be back. Okay, I'm going to try to step this through to show, because I have everything laid out here, and I'm going to try to step this through so that you can see exactly what I'm going to do. The cable, which is going to come from my load center inside the barn here, is going to be hooked up exactly parallel to the plug that I use for not only the stick welder, but also for the back feed into the house. That cable will then come into this elbow. After it goes up over the door, it'll come into this elbow, which will then feed it up into this LB. This LB will be mounted against the wall, down by the floor, and it'll come out on this LR, which is an L shape, but it has a right side opening rather than a back side opening. It will then come down from there through this fitting, which will be glued on and screwed into this fitting, which connects to the conduit. This will all be outside now. The conduit, the flexible plastic conduit will then come over, back through another fitting, up through the same screw fitting to the end of this LL, which is the left side opening, through the wall of this shed or house into that fitting, which will be screwed into the back of this electrical box right into there. In this electrical box will be mounted another electrical socket, a dryer vent socket, the same as what we have here for the welder, and then will be the plate to cover it all. Now, the only other thing that I'm going to be doing is right down here at the bottom, I'll be drilling a hole so that my copper ground wire, which will come through all of this with everything else, will actually be fed out through that and lay along the floor to come over to hook to the side of the generator. So with that being said, I'm going to put most of all this back in, and we are getting ready to start putting this and this on the side of this, right about in there. That way everything will be reachable, won't be having to get down on our knees, especially if it's cold and snow. And then the conduit will run down across that little opening and back up and into the barn. So right here is what we're going to do today. We're going to do this, and probably have that hooked up to it, or just at least temporarily put in, so that we can have this ready and that ready to go once we get this all pushed out, because after this is mounted, it has to go outside and over onto its deck paneling. So we'll be back in a little bit, and after I get all this kind of put away, and we'll show you exactly where we're at and how we're going to do this. Okay, we've already come to a place where we've had to do some modifying or re-engineering. The box that I had to begin with, I'll say it was like this, was not thick enough. The plug would bottom out on it and stand above the side of the surface. So what I've had to do is I had to make a run again back into Lowe's to exchange to find out that they did not have ones like I had that was thick enough. So I had to reconfigure. We had to go with this one, which is thicker. This one is big enough, and I tested that before I left the store. But it only has one entrance. So I'm going to have to come out of here and into this LB. From the LB, we will then go through the wall and into this LL. And these will be sitting like this, hopefully right next up against each other, just like that, and the wall will be in between. Now my prayer is that this being screwed to the wall and this going through the wall will make it strong enough. And of course we'll have to do, you know, the sealing and all like that to make sure that that's sealed up. When I come through here with the cable, make the bend and go through there, make the bend and go up. At the bottom of this LB, I'll drill the hole that the ground wire will come out of and go down to the floor and across the floor over to the generator. So that's kind of where we're at, what we're going to be doing. Let's get this put together. We'll be back and show you the progress. All right then, we got these two are not glued together yet, but I have the screws or the bolt holes for the box mounted. I have that stuck up in there, and I have taken the hole saw, and as you can see, it's right there. So everything is looking good. Now all I got to do is finalize and glue that with the LL that'll hang here. Get that all put together in there. I've got some fender washers that's going to go out here so that it gives it more strength. I will, when this is all said and done, I'll make sure that all of that is good and sealed. I am seriously halfway tempted into calling it right here and filling all of that up with that foam like I have everything else, which will help make it. Not only am I worried about, I'm not really worried about the solidness, but at least a little more resistant to rain and stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill that up, and tomorrow I'll come out and clean it up, and we'll get all this stuff put in there. Nope, okay, you see, I got the fender washers on those four, and I did squirt the foam in. We're done for the day until that foam dries up. And tomorrow, I believe I'll get this all taken care of and put on there. We've got that all glued up. It'll fit inside. I can crank her down, and I'll be able to put the LL on the outside here and get it ready. And then we can probably push this whole thing out back where it belongs and get it out of the way in here. And then it's just a matter of getting the electrical cabling and all like that put around, as well as getting it through the wall and out to here. So, okie doke, we'll be back tomorrow. Well, it's the next day, the foam is dry, and we're getting ready to cut all that off. Got the razor blade sitting right there, inside and out, and we're going to ream that hole out real good and start getting this electrical mounted up. Okay, now what I'm getting ready to do here, I've taken each one of these and I've backed them out a little bit, and I'm going to squirt some of this, well, if I can get it arranged here, I'll show you. I'm going to squirt some of this Alex Plus caulking a little bit back on each one of these, back behind it, so that when they go in, it's not only going to seal the hole, but it's going to seal around the fender washer. And that way it'll be taken care of on the outside. This down here, once the LL is on there, this will then be caulked all the way around it to the best I can. And hopefully we'll be able to get that good and solid and ready to be moved out and set up outside on the decking that was built for it. Well, I've had to redesign a few things, but there is where the cable will go in. There's an LB. It goes through the wall and then out on this side into another LB, which is one of my redesigns. I'll come through, go through the flex and up and into the box. Now, I have finished caulking around there. I got to let that set for tonight. Let it set up, and then I can peel and clean the rest of that up. And so now I'm getting ready to work on the screen that was underneath there that got all clogged up with plastic. I'm going to actually make a new one with some hardware cloth that I got. A small mesh hardware cloth, and I may even see what I can do about putting a little bit of a screen in there. I got some aluminum screen too that I can put in there to basically keep bugs and stuff from getting up inside the exhaust system. So we're moving right along, not as fast as we would like, but I believe where I'm looking at tomorrow, I'm going to be doing some wiring. All I gotta do is convince Mama I need her out here to help me with this cable because it's so thick and heavy. But I'm sure that won't be a problem. We'll be back in a little bit. Well, I put the varmint and bug shield up. Each side has a screw, sheet metal screw on either side holding it in position, but that'll also make it very easy to drop down if I need to clean it. All I need to do is get me a mirror to look to see underneath. Okay, we're starting to run the wire. As you can see, it's right there hanging on the side of that conduit. And we brought it in. The ground wire goes to the ground lugs over here, right in there. And the black and the white over here, that'll be what connects to the circuit breaker at the bottom of the load center. Then you can see that the cabling is being tie wrapped along that conduit all the way over. It'll go across the top behind the door and down the other side until we get right in here, and then it'll just drop down and into the conduit going. I'll probably end up using staples to put it up. Okay, and we got the cable tie wrapped to the conduit up and over top of the garage door. I used enough table make sure that, or tie wraps to make sure that it wasn't going to go anywhere. And as it comes down where the conduit ends, it ends, and we go from there with well, let me see, go the other way. There's a staple, there's a staple, here's a little bit of slack that I wanted, then into the 3/4 inch conduit, plastic conduit, and into the LB, and it has been directed straight out now into the driveway. From there, we got it going through another LB, and it's going to go into the flex tube which will then guide it right up into the generator house slash
We've
condo.
come through the outside LB and has it all straightened out. Well, okay, maybe not straight, but it's all out here. Now we're going to run it through this piece of flex, connect one end, and then we will feed the other up through here for this LL. Now that's going to be the hard one. We can get it up there, but getting it in this side is going to be a little more difficult. But I'm sure we'll prevail. We will be back in a heartbeat. And it's wired. Up here is where it plugs in. Here is the ground cable. I'm going to do some caulking or whatever to get it to stay in place all the way around. I just have little pieces of concrete in there now. Also to show the son is tearing out his kitchen and getting a new kitchen, and I went over and was able to bring home some of the countertop. Going to make a real nice little shelf right up above there, which is also going to help direct a lot of the heat out of that fan. Bringing the fan cable up and over, and I'll hang it over here. I'll make little clothes hangers here, little holes like this, that it'll come over and be able to plug into the front of the So one of the first things we have to do to finalize this is to anchor this behemoth to the ground. And there's a spot in every one of these corners. So I have the drill ready, I have the lag bolts ready, and the impact drill ready. We're going to go ahead and drill those holes. I'm going to make sure that we're square here, just simply for appearances only. And I'll drill the holes and get those put in, and this thing anchored to the ground to where it won't be able to be picked up. We got her anchored down back in that corner. You can't see it. And I have also done some made some hooks for the fan line, which will come around and plug right into the front of the generator. Now all I have to do is I am going to clean this out, and I go get the generator, and let's see if we can get the ground wire, which is laying there, hooked up and get it in position. And well, let's try it. Sounds like a plan to me. What do you think? Okay, we're in the barn. The generator is running, and we're getting ready to test to see if we have power here at this plug. Again, like I said, if there's 120 volts here, it'll be flashing red. If there's 120 volts here, it'll flash red. Let's see. We have red. We have red. We've got 240 volts at that plug. We have completed this. Now we're going to go back out, and we're going to set this up much like what BC did, off to the side, and we're going to see just how much noise difference it makes with this cabinet once I get it, or this condo once I get it closed up. We'll be back.
Well, there was just one more or two more things I wanted to cover with this. Number one, I did not do this for noise reduction, but yet I think you'll see on the next clip that there's definitely significant noise reduction. If I had done it for noise reduction, I would have lined the interior with some more insulation. And number two, it's going to sit here. We're going to fire it up from time to time, keep it running, keep it fueled, and keep it going. But after I need it and after I use it, I will do a follow-up review on this to see just how well it stood up and how well it does, and especially how well the exhaust worked. This is Ted Homer. Thank you for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay. As a matter of fact, we hope you enjoyed the entire series. This is something that has been working on in my head for some time, and now we have it ready, and we actually have more room inside the workshop. By the way, we did go ahead and shut the main power off, and it did fire and power the entire barn and Mama's side over there too. So I am very confident that this is done and done the way it needed to be. Don't forget to give us thumbs up, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends. This has been kind of a hair pulling but satisfying project, and maybe somebody will get some good out of it. Don't forget to tell your local generator installer, your whole house generator installer. This is a good substitute. We'll catch you all the next time. Y'all have a blessed, blessed, blessed day. Bye-bye.